Hey everyone, my name is Brian Mitroff. I'm a senior solutions consultant here at Engaging.io and a lead HubSpot partner both in the AU and US regions. And today in this video, we'll be going over some of the best practices when it comes to creating your lead scoring model with HubSpot and how you can make it effective for your business. Before we begin, if you're not too familiar with HubSpot's lead scoring tool, I'd recommend watching our previous video on lead scoring within HubSpot in order to better understand what it is, how it works, and how to get started creating a model for yourself, which we'll link down below this video. Otherwise, let's jump right in. So the first thing you'll want to do before you start building out your lead scoring model is to first think about what the main objective is of your model. While some may believe that lead scoring is just to see if someone is ready for sales to reach out to them, there are many different ways that you can use lead scoring outside of this one use case. For example, one way you can use lead scoring is to track how contacts are engaging with the content of a unique campaign you're running. This model can include scoring criteria such as if a contact is engaged with the marketing collateral of your campaign, such as specific paid ads, emails, and CTAs, the number of times they viewed specific content tied to that campaign, and much more. You can then use that score to determine what other types of content to present them with that is either relevant to the campaign or something different entirely, depending on whether their score is high or low. There are many ways that you can incorporate lead scoring into your business, so take the time to think about how you could use it to benefit your business. Another tip to keep in mind when it comes to building out your model is to think about what specific actions or criteria should be scored higher in comparison to other actions or criteria. So think about some of the key actions you would like for your contacts to take that could greatly signify that they're likely ready to move on to the next stage of their buyer's journey. So these actions can include engaging with a large amount of your marketing collateral, filling out a form on a content offer page, scheduling a demo with a sales rep, viewing a specific asset a certain number of times, and so on. So these types of key actions should have higher scores associated with them as they signify that a contact is potentially ready to move on to the next step of their journey. It can flag specific members of your team to reach out to them more quickly. So another best practice is to implement time-based decay settings for certain parts of your lead scoring model. So while it's always nice to add points to contacts who are engaged with your business, there may be times where some contacts may either take a break or stop engaging at all with your business entirely. This could lead to such contacts not having an accurate lead score associated with their record if they do decide to step away, which could lead to inaccurate reporting, targeting low engagement contacts and marketing collateral, and much more. So one way you can prevent this from happening is by incorporating the decay score setting within specific event groups of your lead scoring model, which will reduce the number of points that contact will have associated with specific action they've taken in the past. You can reduce the number of points by a specific percentage based on a specific time that has passed each time the contact does not complete the action, starting from when the event first occurred. So for example, under my web page views group here for my lead scoring model, I have it set to where every time a contact visits the contact us page of our website, they do receive 10 points as part of their lead score. But I do have the decay score setting enabled to where it reduces that number of points by 50% every month. So if they were to visit the page this month, they'll go ahead and get 10 points. However, if a month passes, that will be reduced down to 5 points. And then from there, it will then be reduced down again by half after the following month. So it's a great way to go ahead and just remove some of the points from specific actions if those actions have not happened over a certain amount of time. So another best practice to keep in mind is to use lists within your lead scoring model to target specific records within your HubSpot account. So as I mentioned in my previous video on getting started with lead scoring in HubSpot, you do have the ability to target a specific list of contacts that you would like to have your lead scoring model be applied to. This will ensure that you are scoring only a specific subset of your database rather than applying the model to it entirely. So this type of segmentation can also be applied to property groups of your scoring model so that you can score contacts based off of whether part of or not part of one or many lists in HubSpot. So for example, if I wanted to go ahead and add a list filter here, I would go ahead and scroll down to add object under my property group section here. I would then go ahead and click contact as an example, just to choose one as a placeholder. But of course, if I want to go ahead and add that list membership criteria, I can go ahead and do so by clicking this button here. So from here, it will allow me to go ahead and select a specific list, whether it is the contact is belonging to all of these specific lists, none of them, or they belong to any of them. So you have the ability to choose from one of these filters here. So I'll go ahead and select the first one. And then from here, I can go ahead and choose a specific list. So I do have a list associated with just myself. So I can go ahead and select that list. If I wanted to go ahead and add additional lists, I can go ahead and do so through here. So if I wanted to go ahead and add like an admin list, I can go ahead and do so. And then depending on the filter criteria that I have set, if I belong to all of these lists, in this case here, I would go ahead and get 1 point as of right now assist. But of course, I can adjust the points here if needed. And then if I want to go ahead and adjust the filters later on down the line, I can go back and go ahead and do so as well. So kind of a great way for you to go about adding points to specific contacts that either meet one or multiple lists, or they're not part of any specific list within your account. So being able to see what your contact's lead score is currently in real time is great, but lead scoring is only as powerful as the follow-up actions that come along with it. One way you can start incorporating actions taken based on when a contact reaches a certain threshold of your lead scoring model is to incorporate automation via HubSpot workflows. Incorporating workflows into your lead scoring strategy can help with such actions as creating follow-up tasks for your team, moving contacts to a different lifecycle stage based on the current score, sending additional nurture emails to qualified leads, and much more. So one example that I have here is that I created a workflow that enrolls contacts into this workflow based off of their current lead score as well as their lifecycle stage. So for the enrollment criteria here, I have it set to where if Brian's lead scoring model is greater than or equal to 100, so they have more than 100 points or equal to 100 points, and their lifecycle stage is any of subscriber or lead, they would then be enrolled into this workflow here. So then from here, it will then go ahead and update their lifecycle stage to marketing qualified lead. And then I've also added a step here to go ahead and send me a task to follow up with the contact after their lifecycle stage updated to marketing qualified lead. So wonderful way to go ahead and use automation alongside your lead scoring model to automate these certain processes and to really empower your lead scoring model even further. Finally, the last thing you'll want to keep in mind is that as you launch your lead scoring model and begin to see the data coming in, there may be times where the quantity or quality of your qualified contacts may not be as accurate as what you thought they would be. Perhaps you notice that while a large number of contacts are being marked as qualified, they may not actually be ready to move on to the next stage of their buyer's journey. Or maybe you notice that very few contacts are reaching your lead score threshold, even though they've completed specific actions that would technically label them as ready for sales. Scenarios such as these would likely mean that it's time to relook at your current model and see what changes need to be made in order to make the qualification of your contacts more accurate. It's recommended that you check your data of your lead scoring model once every quarter in order to ensure that the current rules are still valid, or if any score updates need to be made. It's also important to ensure that you update your model based on any recent or key changes that have happened within your company, such as a new product launch, retirement of a specific service, and so on. Make it a habit to review and make adjustments to your lead scoring model as often as possible, and will ensure that it is up to date and scoring your contacts correctly. So with these lead scoring best practices in mind, you'll be well on your way to creating a powerful and efficient lead scoring model that'll help you and your team better target and follow up with high quality leads. Thanks for watching.